Okay, dokie. Any comments or anything before we start? Anything you need to know? Burning questions.
I suppose I always wonder what it's good to go through all these techniques before and visualize and things like that. I always wonder what to do when you're having like a panicky moment and you're actually on the pony having a panicky moment.
Okay.
Get back to like present and not just completely
Yeah.
freeze, just completely freeze.
So if you can bring your horse back to a halt, first of all,
Mm,
and the thing that helps me, I'll give you a couple of ideas, but the thing that helps me is to just walk slowly with no ambition to do, a collected walk or any style of walk, just a walk. And I just breathe in for 4 beats, so 4 footfalls. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out 1, 2, 3, 4, and that just resets me. That's what I would do personally. And that, if you've got to go around a couple of times, it doesn't matter. And you might then, once you're starting to feel better, decide, well, I want to control the walk, I want to control the impulsion or the speed or something, or I want to go in for 4, out for 6, or whatever it is. So you could just to get your mind onto something else,
mm,
keep your mind active. The other thing that you might want to do is to go into that peripheral vision that we were doing.
yeah.
So you bring yourself back to a halt, and just if your horse will stand still.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
he's fine. It's just me.
okay, okay. And just go into that peripheral vision just for a few moments with no agenda. And just see if you can see, if you were standing at X, can you see E and B, that kind of thing, or wherever you are, can you see the two opposite ends, opposite sides of you? And that's your only task. And set off when you feel better, when you feel your heart rate has come down.
That's
Are you,
great. Thank you.
are you thinking of that at home when you have that panic, or are you thinking of a competition as well?
Um, I think like hacking. If I see a tractor or a motorbike, now he's fine with tractors or motorbikes, but I tighten and just go completely rigid and just think, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then come back and he's fine. But I've had a panic
yeah,
one
yeah,
approached me and gone past. I'm kind of, oh, oh.
yeah, yeah. I would go in that peripheral vision for the whole of your hack if you can, or as much as you can, because it puts you into a state where you're very alert. So you know exactly what's going on around you. You're not zoned out. You're very alert to it, but you're also calm, which is a strange way to be in some, do you know what I mean? Because normally you would be, oh, motorbike. You've noticed it because you were alert, but then you're on high alert. But this is like, oh, motorbike. Oh, okay.
Kind of medium alert.
Well, I'm hoping for low, but I'll go with
Okay,
medium.
alert. Too late.
But I would try that.
Okie dokie, thank you.
I would try and be in the peripheral vision for as long as you can on a hack, and or even I used to do telegraph pole to telegraph pole. So I do one telegraph pole in peripheral vision, and then between the next two normal vision, then the next one peripheral vision, just to get me a bit practiced.
Practice, yeah.
But if you can think of like little landmarks like gates or whatever you're passing, well, I'll get to that field and then I'll go into normal vision, and then I'll get to that house and I'll go into peripheral vision.
That's fab. I shall practice that on Saturday because I'm hacking him out. He's not my pony. I'm just allowed to hack him out sometimes and compete him. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I
Nice.
can practice then, thank you.
Is there anything else that we need to address before we start?
I think Caroline Pewter used to call it soft riding with soft eyes,
Yeah,
the peripheral vision, which is quite
yeah,
helpful.
yeah. Okie dokie. Right, let's get started. So, today's thought for today was about the fact that you can't hold tension and curiosity at the same time. So, you could have a little bit of tension and it'll allow some curiosity in. But if you are really curious, I mean, like a child's kind of curiosity, where if you imagine what a child would think the first time they sit on a horse or a little pony, and this child's been asking for ages and ages to sit on this little Shetland or something, and finally they get to do it, and the world is just so different for them, and they're just loving it. And it doesn't matter if they balance, because they tip over, don't they? And you think, oh God, they're going to slide off, but they always kind of pull themselves back and bobble along, and they're not bothered about things like that. They're kind of like, oh, how high up am I? How fast can I go? And it's almost getting in touch with that childlike curiosity again, that will banish the tension that we sometimes have. So that might be something else to just try, to think, I wonder if I could ride, a hole lower on my stirrups, or a hole higher, or I wonder if I could close my eyes for 2 seconds, or I wonder if, it's that whatever, whatever you want, just playing, really. Okay, so our loosener for today, there's a few looseners actually. I am going to ask some questions, and you, a little bit like we did, I think, on the first day, you can let the words wash over you, or you can contemplate. It doesn't matter. If you've had a busy day, just let the words wash over you, because your unconscious mind will still be ticking away and answering the question in some form, whether it's now or later. But if you're the type of person that thinks, I need to answer that question, it's driving me mad that I'm not allowed to answer it, just answer the question. So there's going to be a various sets of these, and they're all just to see things from a different angle. That's all they are. So we sort of build up and build up and build up, and we'll see how you feel by the end of a few of them. So let's have a little think about it. So I'm going to call our riding thing, the thing that we're trying to achieve, the problem, just again, because otherwise I end up saying, and you think about competing or cantering or this or that, and I list them all. Well, let's just call it the problem, even though that's a strange word perhaps for it. And let's just have a go. So just relax, and I'll pause between the questions, and we'll see how we get on. So the first question is, what's the problem? What is the problem not? Don't worry if you're getting confused already, that's fine. Your unconscious knows what it means. What is your problem not? How do you know what the problem is not? If you've had a busy day, these will be really almost the equivalent to tongue twisters. How do you know what the problem is not? What is it that you need to not know to know this? Okay, so that was our first one. Okie dokie. So these are coming up in the PDF that I'll send you tomorrow morning, but here's another bank of them. What's the problem? How do you know it's a problem? When did your mind decide that? When don't you do the problem now? What are you not deciding when you don't do it? How is it different from how you were? How do you know that now? Okay, so that's our second little batch. Oh, I'll just let Emma in. Emma, we're just doing some question sets, and all you have to do is let the words wash over you. You can think consciously about an answer if you like. I just pause between the questions, and we'll see how we all feel at the end. So we've just done two, so we're on the third question set. So here we go. So you can close your eyes or keep your eyes open, it doesn't matter. So here we go. What would it be like when you've made all the changes that you want to make now? Go inside your mind and try in vain to have the problem. And as you think about it now, if you could make this change for yourself so that you could stop, and having made that change and see yourself now riding with full confidence right now, do you like the way you look if you could make that change and look back and see yourself having made that change now? Okay, I'll keep going. So this one, I want you to think about, we're just calling it the problem. Think about that problem now. And think about when you first started to feel that way. We could say when you decided to feel that way. And you may not know specifically when, but you might have an idea, a rough time. And when you think about that rough time or even that specific time, where were you when you decided to feel this way? And just before you made that decision, so there's no decision to feel that way at the moment, just before you made that decision, where were you? And now, as you think about your present situation, and you think about the journey from the past situation before you had the situation, notice how many options you had then to do things differently now. And notice now, as you leap to another future situation, how many options you have to do things very differently now. Think about that old problem and notice how you feel now. And as you think about the next time that you go to ride, knowing what you know now, notice how much better you feel not doing it. Okay. I've got one more for you to really just scramble everything. So I know now that you would like to be confident in your riding. And thinking back to a time when you first decided this, not in the not past, that you need not have all the ability to not feel not confident, not calm and not assertive in your not riding, whilst not knowing that you do have all the not resources to not do this not. Haven't you now? Let me know if you understand what that means. I'd love to know. So you can come back to the real world. How do you feel now? Wiped, like brain's been wiped again.
I think I feel calmer now because I'm so concentrating on what you're saying and what it means that I seem to have left everything else out of my mind.
Oh, that's good.
Clearer thinking, that's the word.
That's good. So they're coming up in the PDF. You could, if you wanted to do, thinking about what Gina's been saying, you could just read those out for yourself and do it like as a little voice note on your phone or something like that, and play them at a time that suits you, just to bring everything down a little bit. Okay. Any questions about those or any comments?
I think I just feel bamboozled by it. And I have the same picture of my tractor at the moment. That's a proper non-event now. Tractor, I'm fine. I'm so confused.
Good. Good. Okay. I'm just going to shut my window. I don't know if you can hear the stuff going on outside. They're just watering the garden next door, so I didn't want you to have to listen to all the hose pipe stuff. Okay, so our technique for today is to get rid of those disaster movies that we have. So it could be a real disaster movie in that it might be something that has happened to you and it's always in the back of your mind, or maybe it's in the front of your mind, or maybe it's a series of things that you think about that might go wrong. Or it could be things that have never happened to you, but you still have them in your mind. You know, my horse might do X, Y, and Z, this might happen, that might happen. So we're going to scramble your brains again to get rid of those. So that those things that pop into your head at the most inopportune moments just fade into the distance. So all I would like you to do, you're going to make a kind of movie for yourself. It's only going to be short, maybe 6 to 10 seconds, something like that. And it's just going to be different scenes of what bothers you, what goes on in your head. So it could be the what ifs. It could be something that, as I say, it did happen and it still plagues you. It might be a previous horse. Anything like that. You're just going to put them together. You don't have to have like a normal film where you set the scene and you lead up, and it's just those moments one after another. So this is a very, very negative little movie. We're not trying to make it positive. These are the things that run through your head. About 5 or 6 seconds, and just jump from one to another. You don't need to, have this lovely segue like in a film. No, it's this occurrence, this occurrence, this occurrence. If it's a real occurrence and it's just one thing, it may last 5 seconds. So just have a little think of what you want to put in your movie. The first scene of your movie, so the first frame, is going to be when you feel safe and sound. So you could be away from horses completely. You could be sitting watching telly, sitting having a cup of tea, or maybe it's you riding, but you feel absolutely fine and confident. It doesn't matter what it is. It feels safe, feels easy, and that's just one scene at the start. Then you go into your disaster movie, and then the last scene is the same. It's something where you feel safe and sound. So it could be the same as the first. You could be back home, sitting down, having a cup of tea, or it could be something different. Okay, so you've got like this sandwich. You've got first scene, absolutely fine, safe and sound. Last scene, absolutely fine, safe and sound, and in the middle, a yucky bit. Okay. Has everyone got a few things that they can think of, or something they can put into a movie? Okay. So you can either close your eyes if that helps you to concentrate, or you can stare into space. I want you to imagine that you're in a cinema. This is your own personal cinema. So you can have your popcorn. You can have a very, very comfy seat with a footrest and all the rest. You decide where you want to sit. So if this movie is quite scary to you, sit at the back. If this movie is medium, sit in the middle. If it's not a list of things that are, they're just more niggles to you rather than being scary things, you can sit towards the front. And during the process, you can move seats. So, if you choose something and you find that you want to move, that's fine too. So back if it's really scary and you really don't like thinking about these things. Middle is middle, and front if it's it's not really a big thing for you. So there you are, sitting in your cinema, and on the screen on pause is your movie with that first scene, that nice safe scene. And in a moment, the movie is going to run right the way through to the end. Before we get that movie rolling, then just to tell you, this is another confusion technique. So just like yesterday, I'm trying to confuse you. So if your movie is changing in any way, just let it happen. Don't feel that you've got to have this perfect movie all the way through the technique. Okay, so you're sitting in your cinema, you're looking at the screen. I want you to, as best you can, make the movie black and white. Don't worry if you can't do it perfectly, just as best you can, make it black and white. And then you're going to run it right to the end, to that other position of safety. Just play it at a normal speed, right to the end. Off you go. So right to the very end, to that other position of safety. When you get there, just pause. And then what I'd like you to do is imagine you can float out of your cinema seat and go inside the cinema screen. So you're actually now inside the movie. You're inside that last frame where you're feeling safe and sound. You're actually there. You're the star of the show. I want you to make it colour. I want you to run the movie backwards, but at twice the normal speed. So everything's running backwards, right to that position of safety at the start. Ready, go. Okay. Float out of your movie, back into your seat. You're going to watch it again. And we're going to keep just going backwards and forwards, getting more and more confusing. We'll start to quicken up. So you're back in your cinema seat. Put the first frame of the movie on the screen, make it black and white, run the movie forward at normal speed, right to the end, ready, go. Okay, if you're already at the end, just pause there. Okay, now last frame. make it colour. This time you're inside the movie again. You're going to run it backwards at twice the normal speed, right to the start. Ready, go. Okay. Back in your cinema seat. First frame, black and white. Watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed, right to the end. Ready, go. Last frame, colour. You're in the movie, run it backwards at 4 times the normal speed. Ready, go. Back in your cinema seat. First frame, black and white. Watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed. Ready, go. Last frame, colour. You're in the movie, run it backwards at 8 times the normal speed. Ready, go. Okay. First frame, black and white. Watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed. Ready, go. Last frame, colour. You're in the movie, run it backwards at 16 times normal speed. Ready, go. Okay. First frame, black and white. Watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed. Ready, go. Last frame, colour. You're in the movie, run it backwards 32 times normal speed. Ready, go. First frame, black and white. Watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed. Ready, go. And the last time, last frame. You're in the movie, run it backwards in colour at 64 times normal speed. Ready, go. And then when you get to the start, open your eyes, just come back for a few moments. Okay, so we are going to do it again because it may need a little bit more breaking down, but I thought you deserved a bit of a break. So how are we doing? How are these movies? Are they pretty intact? Are they starting to change in some way? What's happening?
Mine changed really quickly actually. So
Hmm.
it's probably only about the third time, and they all started just kind of disintegrating. So mine was a collection of incidents and accidents in effect, and they all just kind of collapsed, which was quite nice really. And then
Oh,
so then I got really confused because when you told me to go fast, it was like, oh, I have no idea what I was even like had there in the beginning sort of thing, you know. So
brilliant. Well, that's great. That's great. So you can, if you wanted to do any other incidents, you could do that as we do another round. Or you could just really get rid of every last drop of these things. Okay. Are we ready? We're going to do the same again. Teeny tiny change to the method, but virtually the same again. So these movies, just like we did yesterday, when they start to change in some way, we're not trying to recall them back. We're just letting them go. So a lot of people find that they skip scenes or they forget what was in the movie or it just goes in a blur. Yeah, that's fine. So back in your cinema, if you want to move forwards in the cinema, you can do. Sometimes people want to move a bit forward, then you're more in touch with what's going on the screen. But you can also stay where you are if that's working for you and the movie is starting to change. So whatever's left of the movie, put the first frame back on the screen in black and white. Run the movie forward, normal speed, right to the end, ready, go. When you get to the end, make the whole screen turn white. So just white it out completely. And then put the last frame of the movie on the screen, make it in colour, and run the movie backwards at twice the normal speed, ready, go. When you get to the start, white it out. Put the first frame of the movie on the screen, make it in black and white, run the movie forward at normal speed, ready, go. Okay, when you get to the end, white it out. Last frame, colour, you're in the movie, run it backwards at 4 times the normal speed, ready, go. When you're back to the start, white it out. Then first frame, black and white, watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed, ready, go. When you get to the end, white it out. Last frame, colour, you're in the movie, run it backwards at 8 times the normal speed, ready, go. When you're back at the start, white it out. Then first frame, black and white, watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed, ready, go. When you're at the end, white it out. Last frame, colour, you're in the movie, run it backwards at 16 times normal speed, ready, go. When you get to the start, white it out. First frame, black and white, watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed, ready, go. White it out. Last frame, colour, you're in the movie, run it backwards at 32 times normal speed, ready, go. When you're back at the start, white it out. First frame, black and white, watch the movie, run it forward, normal speed, ready, go. White it out. Last time, last frame, colour, you're in the movie, run it backwards 64 times, normal speed, ready, go. Okay, so when you get back to the start, open your eyes, have a little breather. How are we doing now? How's the movie doing? How do you feel about the things that were in the movie? Where are we up to?
What I was worried about doesn't seem to matter.
Super. Sort of feel neutral about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd say that too. It just feels neutral now. It's just kind of a whatever.
Oh, Emma says she can't get any detail. Brilliant. It has no substance anymore. Lovely, lovely. So if you needed to do, it doesn't sound like you need to do in this group, but if you needed to do, you can just keep repeating that. Backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, until you know I don't really care about it anymore. It doesn't mean that you suddenly feel elated or anything like that, this technique. It just gives you that kind of neutral, kind of, I don't really care kind of feeling. It doesn't suddenly give you the joys of spring or anything, but it takes the charge off the things that you were thinking about. So yeah, you can use that anytime. So again, you may do it a lot quicker in your own head than I did, because I was guessing when you got to the end of each, when you at the start or whether you're at the finish, and you'll know because it's in your head, right, I've got to the end, right, zip it back and zip it back again. So you can probably do it far quicker. And if you think, well, I haven't got a series of things to do, I've just got the one thing that I'm thinking about, well, that's okay too, because that'll go even quicker. So it's a nice little technique to do. Any questions about it? Anything that you're not sure about, or not sure about doing it for yourself, or when to do it, or anything like that? Are we all okay? Brilliant. Okay, so that's in the PDF that's coming tomorrow morning as well, those instructions. So the only other thing that is in the PDF for today is just a reminder about grounding yourself. And I suppose we talked about that a little bit with Maxine at the start when we were saying, just bring yourself back to a halt. It's something that certainly I forget to do in my daily life, because I'm always busy and thinking about things that I've got to do and my to-do lists, but when I do remember to do it, it really, really helps. So by grounding, I mean bringing yourself back to that more relaxed frame of mind, and there's different ways to achieve it. So if we all had loads of time and we didn't have jobs and things like that, then you could go and walk barefoot on the grass, and that would ground you. That's one way that some people like to do it, but that's not very practical. You can go to your happy place inside your head, the imaginary place or real place, just for a few moments, and that sometimes just brings you down. If it doesn't, because your head is really buzzy that particular day, you've got a million things to think about, and your happy place just isn't doing it for you, you need something a bit stronger. It sounds a bit weird, but you can put your hand on top of your head and press, squash yourself down, and that works for some people as well. It just helps you to kind of, I'm not quite sure why it works. Maybe Gina's a doctor, she might know why it works. But yeah, sometimes that helps you when you're really buzzy, just sort of pushing yourself downwards. Have a little go at grounding yourself, and it's another one of these things that we never find time to do, but if we did find time to do it, it'd be really good just to check in with ourselves a bit more often in the day and say, oh, do you know what, I'm getting too flustered, I'm getting too busy in my head, and I need something that works in seconds, because I have got a lot to do. I can't be doing some kind of meditation, on a purple stone or something. I haven't got time for all of that. I've got to do something quick as a reset. And maybe your head is even too buzzy to do any of these little techniques that we've been doing, because you get halfway through and then you think, oh gosh, I've got to go to the bank, or I've got to peg the washing out, or I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So think about what your go-to would be, so that you know what it is ahead of time, rather than thinking, oh, I can't be bothered with any of that. You've got it. You can write it on a post-it, put it on your computer, or have it on your phone, or whatever it might be. So you just remind yourself, oh, if I just do that mad thing that she told me to do, push down on my head, then see how it feels. Okay. Any questions, ladies? Anything about this evening or any of the previous days that you need to know? So tomorrow, we are going to have, again, a thought for the day. We're going to have a loosener, and our technique is all about getting from A to B. So A is where you are now, and B is where you'd like to be. And I'm doing it with my hands. Oh, thanks, Emma. I'm doing it with my hands because you'll also do it with your hands as well, and hopefully you'll squash your hands together. So where you want to be and where you are, kind of concertina, and we get there much quicker. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow. Do ask me any questions in the WhatsApp. Keep telling me about your successes, however micro or nano, because they're probably a lot bigger than you think they are. Okay, have a lovely evening, and I'll see you again. Bye.